At this hour, Ian is back to hurricane strength, now hitting parts of the East Coast as a Category 1 storm. The second landfall will be in Georgia and the Carolinas, bringing more damaging winds and torrential rain. That landfall is expected later today. Many are waking up this morning in Florida surveying the damage that Hurricane Ian has caused. Lots and lots of damage, as we've seen. And when we talk about national emergencies, we usually don't think about lawyers and laws, but they are relevant. There are relevant issues that come up in these emergency situations. Joining us now to talk more about that is our legal analyst, Whitney Traylor. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Sure thing. Good to be here.
So talk about the role of laws and lawyers in these disasters.
Right. You made a great point. We don't think about lawyers in these situations, but a lot of times you actually do need them, because think about all the things that happen in these emergencies. You have a landlord-tenant issue. You may have insurance issues. There's even applying for FEMA. And there's a lot of lawyers that will come and volunteer just to help with, say, FEMA appeals, if you will. But this is a situation, I'm glad we're actually talking about it, because these kind of things, there's so many things we can do beforehand. And this is sort of like the, death and disability. You know, when somebody, we're not generally expecting, a younger death or somebody who's working, that kind of thing. And when that happens, do we know where the documents are? Do we know the passwords? All those kind of things. Because in these emergency difficult situations, you're not thinking straight.
Yeah. And even before that, you think, where are these things? We were just talking about, like, gosh, we don't even know where these things are in our house or what we would grab. But really, it's about having those things in place as well in the first place.
That's exactly right. And this is use this as a reminder, folks, that this is an opportunity to actually find out where your documents are. Do you have insurance? Is your will up to date? Do you need a trust? All of these kind of things, the certificates. So even right now, if everybody's saying, I have no idea where any of this is, if my insurance is even up to date. Well, this is beautiful for us in Colorado. We're not having an emergency. We just had some in Boulder, and we have wildfires and things. So let this be an opportunity to go ahead and find those documents, make a list of what you think's important, your passwords, all those kind of things.
Yeah, and as we saw during the Marshall Fire, a lot of people just didn't have stuff prepared. So are there resources out there to help people get through this kind of thing?
Yeah, there are. There's a lot of resources if you just go online. And, there's things like Warrior Weekend, things to do to prepare yourself physically. And one of the questions they used to ask, and my daughter and I used to think about this, could you go a weekend without electricity? And if you did, how would you do it? And for me, no, we couldn't. I couldn't do it. I'm a straight city slicker, So, but you think about that and you say, hey, if I have a family of 4, could we go a couple days without that? So there are resources, and then there's places you can go to FEMA and the Department of Justice, because now, in addition to sort of the regular issues, are fraud and all these other things that come along with it. And so there is a lot of resources out there, but the time to think about this is now.
The more prepared you are all the time is going to be beneficial on how quickly you recover. And I'm sure you've seen firsthand how that can play out in court when things aren't lined up correctly.
No, that's exactly right. And when you think about who you might be in court with, possibly the insurance company, possibly FEMA, right? These are big institutions. They know the game. The more you can do ahead of time, which is one, make sure you have the documents, make sure they're up to date. But then this is stuff that will help the lawyer when the lawyer is helping you to prepare. So, hopefully it doesn't come to that. But this, like I said, this should just be a reminder, because, for example, a lot of people might think about death and say, okay, I have my will and trust in place. But if they become disabled on the job, and that is a more higher probability than death while you're working, is a disability situation. Do you have disability insurance? And so these are there's a checklist you can go through to think about. So I'm not trying to scare anybody, but let this be a little bit of a reminder.
Be prepared.
Yeah, when money gets involved.
I need to do that.
Yeah, it can get ugly. It can get really ugly. So that's why it's smart to think about those things. Then you can just cross it off your list and say, okay, I'm prepared. I'm just going to move on, because we had those difficult discussions and we can move on.
And you got 3 months. So set a goal to do this by the end of the year. It's totally doable within 3 months, and you'll be going into 2023 strong.
Always good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
On this side.
Ed.